Okay, greetings everyone. Happy New Year, 2024. I want to talk a little bit about the situation in Israel and in America, particularly with regards to this conflict. Somebody was asking whether I think that this Israeli conflict could spiral out of control into a world conflict. Well, obviously, it already sort of is doing that. There's the Houthis in Iran, an attack has just occurred in Iran. I don't think Russia will get involved. To be honest, this is not a question you can answer astrologically, anyhow. This is more of a political question because there's no chart for the whole world. That's the problem with astrology. There's a chart for any particular country, but this is a bigger question than that, right? So I don't think it'll spiral into that much of a larger conflict. I think it will settle down, but again, the next year is going to be kind of crazy. We're going to take a look here at America's chart. And America is also going through a very difficult period, Rahu Saturn, until the August of next year, which means just a lot of tumultuousness, a lot of volatility in the markets, a lot of political volatility, a lot of social volatility. Yeah, it's a pretty dark time until August or September of next year. Then it does improve greatly because America goes into a Saturn Mercury period, and that's going to be very auspicious because Mercury is in the ninth house. It also means whoever wins the 2024 presidential election will have to be useful in some way. So there is no chance of Joe Biden winning the next election. It's just not even possible. Now, useful doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be 36 years old. Okay. The cutoff for America, obviously, is you have to be 35 years old. And yeah, you definitely don't have to be that young. But there has to be a youthful spirit. Obviously, this guy, Venkat, or whatever his name is, Vishwarami, I'm not that good with names. But anyhow, a young Indian entrepreneur who's currently running, he's got a great chance based on that. I honestly don't think he's going to win. He's got too many other, obstacles, I think. But from an astrological perspective, he makes the most sense, right? But it would have to be somebody who's youthful in energy, regardless of their physical age. It could be Trump, could be DeSantis, could be Haley, could be perhaps somebody from the Democratic side, but somebody young, or it's young-ish, right? Yeah, and things will vastly improve September, October of next year. But until then, it's going to be kind of a rough ride. Also want to talk a little bit about the importance of the ninth house and Jupiter in an astrological chart, because a lot of people are curious about is there a way to improve your luck situation in life? Obviously, a lot of people, that's a big question. How do you improve luck in life? And it's obviously a very deep question. I mean, a lot of it does relate to your spiritual path, your teacher, your guru. A lot of these things are reflected by both Jupiter and the ninth house and the ninth lord. So when you want to strengthen a planet, and by the way, I just published a book. It's actually going to drop either tomorrow or the day after, and I'm going to provide another video and a link that'll have that book in it. But anyhow, I talk about a lot of this stuff in my book, but the ninth lord is the most important to strengthen, followed by Jupiter. A lot of people are curious why that is. Hindu astrology is different than Western astrology. It's not the natural status of the planets that matters as much. It's the houses they rule. And since the ninth is the luckiest house, the lord of the ninth house is the luckiest planet for that ascendant. So, for instance, I'm a Capricorn, so the ninth lord is Mercury for me, ruling Virgo, and therefore that's always going to be my luckiest planet. If you are an Aries ascendant, then Jupiter, actually, the luckiest planet, normally also rules the ninth house, and for an Aries, that would be the luckiest planet. If you are a Taurus ascendant, believe it or not, Saturn would be your luckiest planet. In fact, I knew a girl in San Diego. She was a Taurus ascendant with Saturn on the ascendant, and normally when people have Saturn on the ascendant, they have kind of a heavy, ill-fated sense about them. They're a lot of times very serious, overbearing. They always feel they were born under a bad star, just bad luck follows them. That kind of thing is common when you have Saturn on the ascendant. A lot of times people will get into politics or business, or they're usually not the lightest people, right? But she was a Taurus ascendant. Now for Taurus, Saturn rules 9th and 10th house, is a Yoga Karaka. It is the luckiest planet for Taurus. Therefore, it's quite the opposite. When Saturn's in the ascendant for her, she was successful, rich, wealthy, prominent in society, gorgeous. She had all the blessings of the ninth and 10th Lord. Now, you might be curious, but isn't it still Saturn? I mean, doesn't that planet still have to show its qualities in some way? And well, it does. I mean, she could be kind of cutting and ruthless, and she didn't suffer enemies or fools too well. That's for sure. So it will show its negative qualities from here, here to there. But for the most part, it's the houses the planet rules that dictate what that planet acts like for that ascendant. So like I said, for the most part, she was just wealthy, successful, socially prominent, you know, uh, great health, great looks, the whole 9 yards, right? So very important. Look at your chart, find out when you were born. You'd have to find that out from a birth certificate. The timing is very important. It's the natural ascendant that's the most important, the sign that was rising in the east when you were born. And whatever the ninth house and ninth lord is, strengthen that. Again, my book's coming out soon, and I'm going to provide another video and a link to that. Thanks, folks.